Hello, my name is Kelly Bluen. I am a certified Zentangle teacher. Welcome to 15 Minutes of Zen. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a tangle called String Rose by Helen Williams. I'm using a Micron PN plastic nib pen. You can use any fine line pen that you have. I also have a graphite pencil to do some shading and a blending tool called a tortillion. I'm also using a 2" by 2" tile called the Bijou tile. You can get these at Zentangle.com or from my Facebook page called Let's Tangle. Okay, so typically I just jump right into it, but today I'm going to take a little piece of scrap paper and I just want to show you what this tangle looks like before we get started. Okay, so string rose is meant to be a continuous line. If that is a little bit tricky for you, feel free to lift your pen and just add the pieces as you go. So string rose starts with an oval shape, and then it continues on and makes pretty much a larger oval around it in the opposite direction. And then we curve around and we make another oval this way and this way. So basically, I'm just leaving my pen on the paper and I'm making these oval shapes in various directions. Okay, if that's a little bit tricky, then pick up your pen and put in these ovals this way. They're meant to be a little bit, a little bit off. They don't have to be perfect ovals. They don't have to be exactly lined up. So a little bit free form. Okay. I'm going to grab my tile and I'm going to start by putting a dot in each corner like this. And then I connect those dots with a small thin pencil line. Do it in pencil so that my tangle, as I'm drawing it, if it needs to go outside of the border, that is okay. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start. So I'm going to do hopefully 3 or 4 of these little rose petals or roses. So I'm going to start right here with a small oval. And then I'm going to take my pen and I'm just doing another oval a little bit wider. And then I'm doing one in another direction. And I can make these be a little bit more triangular or a little more round. It doesn't really matter. As long as our overall shape at the end is kind of round, we get this little rose type pattern. I'm going to leave that one there and do another one over here. So I'm really going slowly and carefully, making these lines that come in and touch the edges. And now because this one is right against this one, I'm going to have to do that go behind method where it comes out the other side. And often I'm following along a line I already made and then coming out the other side. So there's a little bit larger one. I love the simplicity of this, that it's just a single line, and yet it takes kind of a lot of focus to make it. I'm going to do one more over here. Make that initial oval. And then I just start making those opposite ovals. And as I come in, I like to follow the line and then jump out. Like that. They are meant to look imperfect. All right, I'm going to do another tiny one right here just because I want to play around with having some different sizes. Just a little one like that. Then I'm going to add a couple of leaves to make these look a little bit more floral. So for my leaf, I'm going to make a wide leaf like that. Yours doesn't have to be this big. And then I put these little bit curved lines all the way down the leaf. I'm going to do another one over here. So I curve them just slightly. Then I'm going to go back to those little string rose patterns, and I'm going to add some thickening just sort of randomly. So I'm going to pick a spot right here. I'm just going to thicken that curve a little bit. I'm going to do it a couple more times on some of those curves. Just by adding a little bit of ink, it gives that some more interest. I'm going to do that over here. Again, it doesn't have to be every curve. Just giving it that extra bit of darkness. It's pretty how much that adds. I'll go ahead and do my other two, just picking some curves to darken. I like how each of these turns out different from the other one. And my last little tiny one. And then on my leaves, I'm going to trace this outside, and I'm going to give it some little spikes. Just because I think that rose leaves have a little bit of a edge to them. Then if you would like to add some thickening at the end of these little lines where they touch the edge of the leaf, it gives those leaves a little bit more detail, a little bit more definition. So just putting a little bit of darkening, like a miniature V shape where those reach. I'm going to thicken that center line as well. There's our string rose. Now I'm going to take my pen and I'm just going to trace that frame that I made, lifting my pen when I get to a leaf or a little rose, like that. And then I'm going to aura that frame and give it just one more line. There we go. Hopefully yours turned out. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Now I'm going to pick up my pencil and do some shading. So to do the shading on this, I like to find these curves and imagine it being a petal that goes over the other petals. So this one right here goes over those petals. This one curves over these ones. Basically, just where I added those highlights, I'm adding a little bit of shading. This one looks like it goes over that one. So in here, I'm just picking some spots, this big oval here, add some shading. This one in here. Basically inside those curved areas, adding just a little bit. Find a curve. Add some graphite. Now I'm going to go around the outside of these, and wherever it goes over a leaf, I'm going to add a little bit of graphite to that area on the outside of that, right where it goes over the leaf. So over here, that same thing goes over a leaf. Pick up my blending tool, and everywhere that I put a little bit of graphite, I'm just going to soften it. Just slightly. Not spreading it around very much. Just softening it enough so that it's not a solid line. And those parts outside where it goes over the leaf, I'm going to soften that and push it towards the leaf. like that. I'm going to add a little bit more up the stem of the leaf. Push that out a little bit to each side. And then with my blending tool, I've got a little bit of graphite already on there. I'm going to put a little bit just on the inside edge of that frame. There we go. There's string rose. You could make this over and over again. You don't even need the leaves. It's just a relaxing way to focus on your lines, take your time, and make these beautiful little shapes. So hope you enjoyed it. As always, we initial our work. And on the back, we write the date and a little journal entry about what's going on in our lives. Thank you so much for joining me. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.